Welcome to the WOW Seat Workspace. I am the WOW Empress, AliNICOLE WOW, she does it all. And I'm also the founder of the WOW Seat Media. And you can learn more about our other featured signature segment production platforms at www.thewowseat.tumblr.com. And we invite you to follow us on Facebook as well. On this platform, I feature what I know to be some of the absolute best thought leaderpreneurs. And one of the things that I'm very privileged to do is to advise and mentor and consult these individuals on their WOW works, which stand for their worthwhile, outstanding works. And so I am always excited to be doing these workspace sessions. And one of the things I love to highlight about this particular segment is that the powerful leaders who I invite into this space to do consulting and advising on air, they really appreciate and realize the importance of having a trusted expert or a guide, a mentor, advisor to really guide them in taking the next steps towards leveling up their worthwhile, outstanding works and really making a greater impact, with those missions. So it's always my honor and a privilege. And today I am extremely excited because in this workspace session, I am working with my senior star cross-brand celebrity protege, and he's also my chief multiplicity officer, Tom. And boy, I tell you, I can't wait to really get into this because he's just beyond super, and I'm certainly going to tell a little bit, about him in just a little bit. But I want to just welcome him to the WOW Seat Workspace. So, Tom, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me here.
Oh, you're most welcome. Well, before we get started, as I mentioned, I would like to share some things about you. But, actually, before I do that, I want the energy of your voice in here and everything. So I often start this particular segment off with asking the leaderpreneurs or thought leaderpreneurs why they believe it's important to have some type of support from a mentor or a coach or an advisor. So before we get into the session, I would love for you to share your thoughts around
that. Well, I got 10 good reasons for you.
Oh, wow. This could be a whole show here, huh?
Oh, yeah, wow. Yeah, but I'm just going to sum it up for you.
Okay.
Well, number one, they give you information and knowledge. Mm-hmm. Number two, they can see where we need improvement, where we can't. The three, mentors find ways to stimulate our personal and professional growth. Mm-hmm. They give us encouragement and help us keep going.
Yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they serve sometimes as disciplinarians that can create necessary boundaries that we can't set for ourselves.
That's true. Mm.
Yeah, sounding boards so we can bounce off ideas off of them for unfiltered opinions. Trusted advisors, they can be connectors. They have experiences you can learn from that keep from making the same mistakes beginners make. Mm-hmm. And they're free, and that's what makes them priceless in more ways than one.
Yeah, well, sometimes they're free. But I understand what you said. Those were great. I love that. Wow, that is such an awesome breakdown. Oh wow, that is incredible. Feels like you and I actually probably need to do a show around that on another platform at some point. That was phenomenal, Tom. Thank you so much. Wow.
That actually could be a whole show.
Yes, it could, and we definitely will consider that. As I mentioned, wow, that is amazing. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. It is a priceless experience. Actually, no matter the price that someone is paying, whether they are receiving the benefits of benevolence of free mentoring, or they, are enrolling coaches that they do pay for. As you know, we are coaches and consultants, and we provide, services to individuals. But regardless of the dynamics, you're right, it's just a priceless experience, and so very much needed. And wow, I do just so greatly appreciate the way that you answered that. So with that level of magnificence, I
I
better
just
say
want to
some
say I
good.
got the best one.
Oh, thank you. Wow, this who knows where this segment, this work session is going to go today, boy. I appreciate you so much. Wow. Yeah, I better definitely say some phenomenal things about you, which everything about you is phenomenal. So if anyone wants to know the definition of epic and phenomenal, here we are, that just Tom Tom. I don't care what the dictionary says and what you've been told. He's the very epitome of that expression. But I do want to tell a little bit about him before we start in this session. Is that, I mentioned that he's a cross-brand, celebrity, and I want to share just a few things of as his cross-brand celebrity-preneurship, aspect, the things that he does. He's a multi-level writer. He's also a cross-pollination publisher, and he does this for different industries. And he has 30 publications on Amazon, and I can assure you there's going to be so many more coming forth. He also has several blogs, and they are for different niche markets. He's a cross industries entrepreneur, and he also has a twin empire for the financial industries. And I'm just going to name those as Powering Up Your Finances and the Financial Laxative. And those services, they provide several levels of different levels of services. And he specializes in credit repair, financial education. He does consulting, and also advisory. Another aspect about him that's so great, and as I mentioned, he's my chief multiplicity officer, but in his own multiplicity-preneurship, he serves as a multiplicity empowerment coach. So there's different levels and dimensions of his empowerment coach services. So some of these areas is that he serves emerging entrepreneurs and writing superpreneurs, and also sports success journalismpreneur. And that's just to name a few in the levels of empowerment that he provides in his multiplicity entrepreneurship. Now, he's currently leveling up to showcase his branding authority, as he's making some shifts to sort of rebrand several areas in order to start demonstrating his new brand identity that's coming forth. It's not really new, but what it is that the expression that is going to be displayed at a higher level of a cohesiveness of his evolution is the chief primary goal that we want to now display in the marketplace at large on several different levels. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be focusing on his platform and emerging empire, the TomTom brand. And I want to tell about what he has so far. So far, he's developed a Tumblr platform, and this platform is actually going to display a few production features, publications, and also related platforms and blog tours as well. And so what we're going to do in the first half of this session is I'm going to share a few considerations so that we can start the brainstorming process. And then in the second half of the session, we'll get more into the master planning and yes, definitely bringing some cohesiveness to a structure that he can start to leverage. So TomTom, are you ready to get started and hear about some of these considerations and do some brainstorming?
Yeah, let's get it.
All right. Well, let's get it. All right. So, some of the things that came up as I was being, present with the direction that you could start, to move in, is that, of course, writing is one of the chief primary vehicles, that you use as a multi-level writer, and its signature, to your branding, as it leads to so many different levels and gateways, into the different opportunities that you manifest, based on your multi-level writing. But for this particular platform that's in development and the next level of your branding, that's coming forth, what came up was a three-part publication series that would have two mini books and a VIP day workspace planner. And I'll talk a little bit, more, about that as we get into the session. And also, you can consider, combining these works together into a bigger publication at some point, if you desire. And of course, the publication, the products and projects and things that, you and I have worked on, you're very familiar with being able to take chapters of a particular bigger work that you're working on and making a mini book, out of it, and displaying it, to the public, um, and giving them some value before waiting on the actual big book. So the same could be done, with this, or these publications could just be, standalone mini books. So, the first one that came to mind, and this is actually something we talked about a few months back, I believe, but the brand identity shift, and that's the journey to becoming the TomTom brand. And so we never really came up with a solid title or so, but it was just, we started knowing that it was going to be time to start working on the development of this particular aspect. And obviously, the time, is now. So the brand identity shift, the journey to becoming the TomTom brand, and that's going to be more about, your story, your journey, and it'd be, in a mini book format. And or you could make a bigger book out of it at some point. But that was what was coming up as one of the mini books. The other one was the basics of becoming a superpreneur brand, discovering and developing your unique personal and professional brand power. So that's the second mini book. Again, the basics of becoming a superpreneur brand, discovering and developing your unique personal and professional brand power. And then the VIP day workspace planner, which no subtitle came up for this, yet, but it would be the right way, WRITE, to brand as a superpreneur. And this actually could lead into an offer that could be the right way to brand as a superpreneur VIP weekend intensive. So that could be, one of the consulting or coaching aspects, that you have the workspace planner that will, be provided for people who can't work with you, but also it could be a companion to an actual, consulting, opportunity. Um, because we do a lot with media tours, and that there's always an opportunity when you have new developments and publications coming out, that having media tour initiatives are great. And so a Facebook page would be awesome for this initiative. Did you already create a Facebook page for the TomTom brand, or not yet?
No, I hadn't done that yet. I tried to turn my public figure page into it, but it wouldn't let me change the title. So I'm guessing
when okay, yeah.
I
So
might
it's
start another one.
yeah. So that, yeah, because you actually, that's good that didn't happen, so that you can actually leverage this one as the kind of the media tour aspect. Another thing, since you're going into the next level of your celebritypreneurship level up, because that's training that you're in currently, as well, is one of the aspects was about considering developing an underground celebrity-preneur, platform, especially for a new emerging audience. And so it would be good for this initiative to actually develop a Facebook group and allow that to be your celebrity-preneur underground, but the Facebook page could be the welcome center or so that directs them, into the Facebook group, because you want that to sort of be private and build kind of your VIP audience, there. And something else that came up is that for your first stages of marketing for the publications, and as you know, the publications can start getting marketed long before they're actually out, and you could publish a LinkedIn article for each one, like I said, even before they get published. And a lot of times, that's a way to even start writing, your book, is by writing an article and having what would be excerpts of the publication, so that, that's a consideration. And then being able to create a LinkedIn article landing page to feature all of the articles. And then once your blog is established, you can hyperlink that, the Facebook page, and the invitation, to the group. So all of those could be, within that LinkedIn landing page. Within that LinkedIn landing page article. So what are your thoughts around those, considerations?
I'm with it. Let's go.
Wow, you always make everything so easy. I love working with you. But of course, I do want to hear, just if you have, anything else you want to say. We'll get into obviously the master planning, aspect and everything within the next part of the session. But we can, start thinking about creating a timeline for the completion, and what projects, to start on first, and then also maybe considerations for a fall media tour, and how maybe you can start leveraging a blog tour and some of the LinkedIn articles to start building up, for this new audience. So those are things, like I said, that we can start to explore, a little more when we return. So before we actually go to break, I do want you to actually be thinking about a timeline in terms of, how we can start, working with some of this. And if you are open to doing, a fall media tour, maybe you want to do a series of tours leading up to that, or it's next year, however. So those are things I want you to just be pondering around. And when we return, then we'll get into some master planning. So are you ready for this?
Yeah, let's get it.
Yeah, you're born ready, aren't you? That's why I'm so excited that I have you in this segment. So listeners, we are going to take a quick break, and Tom's going to be pondering a few of these things. And when we return, we will start the master planning aspect of the segment, and blending in some of the things that I brought up as considerations. So we look forward to seeing you when we return.